us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Reflections. Good morning over there at Instagram. It's our first time going live on Instagram at the same time. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. But it's good to know I finally got to Instagram. So I've been doing you have to use this thing called Yellow Duck and put it in RMTP, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I wasn't hitting the start broadcast button. It's the little things, right? So, you guys know me, I'm Dion. And what I do here every day is we do daily reflections. A lot of times I do it from this daily reflections. Sometimes people have topics they want me to cover, and I try and cover those topics. But essentially what I try and do with the daily reflections is to let people know what it's like to be sober every day. I have other things that are extenuating. I have extenuating circumstances. I deal with anxiety, depression, PTSD, and those things crop up every now and again. So I do this so that you guys can see what it's like to live with it and to show you that even though we may have extenuating circumstances, that you can still live a happy and sober life, man. You can't. It is possible to do. It doesn't make every day easy. Yesterday for me was fucking hard. It's still hard today. I'm upset. I'm hurt. That's okay. That's all right. So, yeah, let's get to the daily reflection. Oop, it moved pages on me here. 3. Our primary purpose. Sorry, just grabbing the right book here, guys, because I got it. All right. Our primary purpose thought, the more AA sticks to its primary purpose, the greater will be its helpful influence everywhere. And that is page 109, AA Comes of Age. I'm excited because I haven't been able to read out of this book yet. Now I have it. It's the little things in life that excite us. So what is our primary purpose? Well, our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So this is under the 3 legacies of Alcoholics Anonymous on page 109 in AA Comes of Age. So thank you, Chris. I will hang in there. You remember back in the 90s, that poster that was going around that had that cat, right? And he was, there's these streak marks all the way down. The poster said, everything I've ever let go of has scratch marks all over it. That's kind of how I am right now. So, but I know where I am. Yeah. So I know what's going on, and therefore I can be appropriate with that. Right? I'm not acting any different towards anybody else. Well, I'm acting different, but that's because I have some feelings going on. But I'm not taking my feelings out on other people. That's the main thing. When we get like this, just don't take your feelings out on other people. The would-be educator showed up at New York office asking for advice. I have no idea what we're talking about. Of course, we told him that we thought factual education to be a very good thing, and that as a public relations expert and as a citizen, he certainly had a perfect right to take the job. But didn't he think that he should advertise his AA membership at the same time? So it sounds like he's going for a job. It sounds like he's going for a job here, and whether he should bring up his AA or not. Remember, this was a long time ago. Nowadays, talk to your sponsor. You don't always want to bring it up. You don't. There are some fields where it's still not acceptable. You know, um, pilots, doctors, counselors, people of trust, right? Our member got the point. He said, Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life. It comes first. I certainly won't be the guy to land AA in big time trouble, and this might really do it. Our friend had summed up the whole endorsement problem. We saw, as never before, that we could not lend the AA name to any cause other than our own. Absolutely. And I even work my business this way because it's successful. Because it works. That's what I like about it is these principles can be applied to everything that we do. But here was the other thing. So yeah, we have a lot of popular, like I'll use Danny Trejo as an example. We all know he's in recovery, things like that, but he is not the face of AA. Okay, notice that? There's a lot of stars or whatever that are sober. And it's cool to see that. But honestly, it is the people like you and me, it's us regular Joes, that really help other people get into the program. Right? Everybody has their place. Right? You're not gonna sober up Eminem. None of that stuff is gonna happen. Okay? Everybody gets a chance. See, let me put it this way. Let's say there was a chance to help sober up a pop star or a regular Joe. What do you think would happen? Everybody would clamor. Okay? There'd be very few people that would go over to the other person. I'll tell you why. Because that other person's more important in my eyes. So. Well, no, they're not. They're not getting the other support the other person is getting, so I want to give it to them. That's a little bit. Yeah. Long afterwards, we saw something else. We saw that the more AA minded its own business, the greater its general influence would become. Right, Gary? The more we mind our own business, the better we become, huh? Our business is going through that right now. There's a lot of shit talk about us. And it's funny because we're not even in that world. We ignore it. But these are things that happen that we have to discuss, man. If we can't sit down and discuss them, then maybe we ought to take a look at this recovery thing again. Honesty is going to carry you so far. The one thing I can't stand, and this happened to me in the last few weeks, people lying straight to my fucking face. Knowing they're lying. They know that they're lying. I can't prove it. So I got to let it go, right? Haven't heard back, of course. But that's one thing that I just, we're in the program, man. I do get it. I do. I understand it. That's the problem. Medicine and religion and psychiatry began to borrow some of our ideas and experience, and they should. And so did research, rehabilitation, and education. All sorts of therapeutic groups began to spring up. They dealt with gambling, divorce, delinquency, dope, addiction, mental illness, and the like. They too borrowed from AA, but they made their own adaptations. Fantastic. They worked their own fields, and we did not have to endorse them or tell them how to live. Right? Gary, you're experiencing that with OA, right? So OA is its separate entity. It's nothing to do with AA. Sure, it borrowed some of our stuff, but we borrowed it from the Bible. We stole it too. So the thing is then other people like Bill W. come along and they put it into words that we can understand. Right? So Gary's big book, he's in OA, his big book is written different than ours. It is written so that he understands what's going on. Because he might go through some problems that you and I don't understand. Why? Because we don't have an overeating problem. Right? So, but the recovery's the same. And that's what we enjoy. And that's what I love. That's what I love about my board of directors. Two of them are normies, man. But it's about the servant's heart and always growing as a human being. You don't need to have an addiction or have something wrong in order to grow as a human being. Try growing just because you want to. Why not? It is with gratitude that I reflect on those early days of our fellowship and those wise and loving four-steppers who proclaim that we should not be diverted from our primary purpose, that of carrying the message to alcoholic who still suffers. Now, you guys hear me say this all the time. AA's the main way to get sober, and for good reason. Why? Because it's the number one way to get sober. It's not the only way to get sober. Okay. But what scares me is this: when people go out and start to reinvent the wheel. Okay. What's that? Recovery First, I think, is one of them. And they're pretty, don't get me wrong, a lot of them are pretty good. Okay, but these little ones that spring up, okay, just be careful. Do a little bit of digging first. Ask around. People will tell you. Go ask Google. I don't know a lot about them myself. I do know that the work is going to be the same, though. And I know that because I meet some of these people and they're happy and they're helping other alcoholics and they're not assholes. So it's working. That's how I know. I desire to impart respect to those who labor in the field of alcoholism. Yep. I have a lot of respect for people in our field that are not one of us. Okay. Now, I'm not necessarily that I'd say I have respect for every single person that's a professional in the field, especially right now. Recovery coaching is, yeah. A lot of normies are questioning it. A lot of them, and I can see why. This is what a lot of normies are saying to me. They're saying, "Isn't that sponsorship? Why are you getting paid for sponsorship?" Kind of feels that way. Now, a recovery coach is different from sponsorship. Sorta. But it was a respect thing. I don't care who you come across. I don't care who it is. Do what you can to show some respect. Right? Unless they cross your boundaries and punch them in the throat and leave. Or just leave. That's what I did yesterday. No punching. I'm not a physically violent person. I don't like that. But I will speak my mind. I desire to impart respect to those who labor in the field of alcoholism, being ever mindful that AA endorses no causes other than its own. I must remember that AA has no monopoly on miracle making, and I remain humbly grateful to a loving God who made it AA possible. Sometimes I think in AA we tend to get a little selfish about our groups. Well, this is ours, man. I paid my debt. No, who cares, man? Who cares? So what? The thing is I have people that come to me all the time. Thank you, Dion, for what you did. I got a really cool message. So you guys heard Sierra's message Sierra's podcast, which is doing phenomenally, by the way. And we brought her on as a host for good reason. I think you guys are gonna love her. You guys are gonna be like, Dion who? I'll be over here going, oh my, what the hell? But I got a message from an old friend of mine. And she said, Dion, when I heard that you were the one doing her podcast with her, it made me very happy. And that felt really good to me. And this person knew me when I was drinking, when I just started my drinking career again. And she saw me go from that portion of doing okay to being homeless. Just watch that happen to me. So for her to come back and say, I'm glad to hear it was you, is because for these last 2-3 years, she's been watching me grow. And it felt good because what she was saying was, this girl's been through a lot, and thank you for doing it the right way, and thank you for taking care of her. And that meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to me. I had some outpouring of love yesterday from California. I appreciate that. So fantastic, guys. This has been really good. If you could do me a favor, whoever is watching on Instagram, if you could say hello, because I'm curious. I'm just curious. You don't need to. It's anonymous. I'm just curious. I'm glad to see that it's working, though. So fantastic. All right, guys. I will be back tomorrow for daily reflection. And what I'm doing is I'm asking God to bring more humility into these with me. I kind of feel like I was getting, I'm not sure what it was. I wasn't getting too big for my britches, things like that. But I think sometimes the monotony of this over and over again, so I'd be switching things up to make it interesting, get into topics that are more worthwhile to us. So, all right, guys, be careful this weekend. Please. All right. Remember, the judges aren't in till Tuesday. All right. Peace out. Love you.